Ontario just said no more. You can't resell tickets above face value. Basically, they're trying to kill the whole scalper game. And honestly, about time. Buying tickets now feels like fighting bots, then paying three times on resale just to get in the door. But here's the real question. Does it actually fix it? Or just push resellers underground? If it works, don't be surprised if places like California start looking at it next. Completely agree. Are we talking Ontario, Canada, or
Hmm.
Ontario? Okay, I was hoping it was
Yeah.
going to be more local for us, Ontario, California. It's like, oh, sweet. But I'm thinking like they don't have much going on in
No.
Ontario. I know they have one small mid-sized arena,
Yeah,
but Ontario, Canada is certainly onto something. Toronto sits in Ontario, Canada, right?
I think so.
If I know
I
my
think it's just.
Canadian
Hmm.
provinces well enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's up there. So yeah, this is fantastic. I think it's a trend in the right direction. I
Mm-hmm.
know that there was a big ruling against a major ticket company
Hmm.
recently in the court system. So, that's just kind of where things are trending. And quite
Hmm.
frankly, I can appreciate everybody making money, in different types of ways. Collecting, trading cards,
Hmm.
whatever you name it, collectibles. But when it comes to tickets, I think that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
It's a big bummer. I get it if you can't make the event, you purchase it.
Hmm.
But just to buy them and then, programming bots in order to swoop them up really quick is a bummer. And then possibly having, I don't know if you want to call it insider buying, insider
Hmm.
trading, where you have, employees of companies buying them and reselling them on, the second market
Hmm.
themselves. Sucks. And then on top of that, you're paying, fees, transaction fees, and it just
Yep.
becomes an annihilation of the pockets.
Yeah.
And it's a big letdown. So I think that this is a trend in the right direction. Stirs away bots, stirs
Hmm.
away people that are maybe non-fans of something, and real fans get an opportunity to purchase the ticket. Um, I don't know if we'll go back to old school times, John, where you show up at the stadium and say, got two tickets, and then you start,
Yeah.
trying to get cash. Um, those were the days. Those were the days.
Yep.
It was always an adventure. And I don't know if we get back to that. Obviously, going hand in hand with that, I'm sure cops wait around and would be like, try to kick them out
Hmm.
if they start doing it. But this is great for any true fan of sporting events,
Yeah.
artists. This is a big deal. Now, California to follow suit would be pretty awesome as well. I don't know what this means for companies like, major resellers,
Hmm.
as far as like, like a StubHub or, SeatGeek, stuff like that. I'm sure that obviously they're still going to get their fees and stuff, but
Hmm.
the monetary value is certainly going to decrease, and their percentage off of that
Hmm.
that they make will decrease as well. So yeah, I like this trend. I think it's worth
Yeah.
it. I think it's good and brings more opportunity to everybody else.
Yeah, I think it brings more opportunity. I'm curious to see how it goes for Ontario, Canada. Because if it's successful, it's one way to stop the scalping game in, live events. Because tickets do go for three times what they cost. And
Mhm.
like I say, I think it's not cool for anything, but I also get it's a business for some, but it's like when you make it so crazy unaffordable, it just isn't enjoyable the way a hobby is, or even this fun event that it should be. So I'm curious how it's gonna go. I read about this. I thought it was really cool, but I'm also curious, I'm curious how they're gonna stop it because, like I say, someone like you said, they're gonna go back to old school. They're gonna go underground. It's, oh, we got tickets. We're not gonna put it on StubHub, Ticketmaster to resell for X amount. It's like you got to come to this place and we'll give you, we'll transfer it over to you. Um, I don't think they really sell paper tickets, so I don't know if we could go back to that old school way where you're just outside of a stadium. Is like, hey, you need some tickets? I always
Mhm.
remember walking by the stadiums like, hey, you got some tickets? I
Hmm.
got some right here, and they just pull out like their coat, like what you need, upper level, lower level,
Yeah.
box seats. Like, oh
Yep.
shit, like I don't know if they could do that anymore, just because, like I say, everything's just electronic. I know when I went to, this was like 3 years ago, Santa Barbara Bowl. I think a majority of those tickets are all electronic. I think you have to
Hmm.
scan something, so
Hmm.
it's gonna be a lot harder. But I am very curious what it's gonna do, how it could push the reselling away, and honestly. I think it's great because it's pretty much calling out Ticketmaster because I think the rumor is and what we hear a lot is Ticketmaster was doing it themselves. Like I say,
Hmm.
Ticketmaster had their insiders buying the tickets, reselling it, and they were still charging more for the resale. Plus, you still have to pay all the fees. Those hidden
Hmm.
fees are insanely expensive.
Oh
Buy
yeah.
$150 ticket, you still got to pay $100 in fees probably for some concerts. And like even reselling, like you mentioned, sometimes you have to resell because you get sick. So an
Hmm.
emergency happens, you can't go, you don't have insurance on the ticket. So it's like you're gonna resell it. Like the fees they charge you just to resell it, like on Ticketmaster again, it's insane. It's a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
money. So it's like even if you sell it at like what you paid for, they're still gonna charge you extra fees, so you're losing money. So you're not
Yep.
even making money. So like Ticketmaster in general just has to get better. I think they're looking into it. And I don't know if you also heard Harry Styles. He has his New York City Madison Square Garden residency there. And recently I saw a report that Ticketmaster caught that there was a lot of bots being used for scalping. So they took all those tickets. They canceled all those tickets and they're going to put those tickets back out for the fans.
Nice.
And it's going to be at face value. It's not going to be any higher. So
Mm.
I'm curious what that's gonna look like. It could still be spots that go in trying to buy it, but like I say, it's sort of like that risky business now for people that want to go to this Harry Styles concert. If you buy the ticket on StubHub, a secondary market, SeatGeek, whatever, and those tickets get canceled, you're still gonna get charged by whoever, you bought the ticket for, and sometimes you can't even get your refunds. Like I said, it's sort of like a
Yep.
middleman. They're like, hey, it's not our fault.
Yep. Yeah. Not our fault. You decided to get stomach flu.
Yeah.
So some something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
a thought kind of came to mind right now too. I think about, maybe the amount of people that, popular sports teams, for example, right now, maybe like you think of a team like the Dodgers,
Mhm,
you think of Toronto, Blue Jays just made the World Series last year. Season ticket holders,
mhm,
I don't know what the percentage of people that buy season tickets to just then try to resell those tickets repeatedly and try to make a profit,
mhm,
and a side gig out of it. This would stir them away as well.
mhm,
Somebody who's looking to attend the games as it's intended with season tickets, or the times that you can't make the game. You usually, if you own a business, maybe you gift
mhm,
it to clients or family members, friends, you name it.
mhm,
But people trying to make, an extra penny off of it. Yeah. It's true fans again
mhm,
get to enjoy season tickets. Maybe some of these wait times to get
mhm.
season tickets will be stirred away. But my curiosity is how many people will that steer away?
Yeah. Yeah, it is sort of I think with like everything that they're scalping for, it's sort of like the consumers. It's like how many people are just gonna stop buying it. I think we've talked about it. This was probably like years ago when with like Fidel and Daniel with like scalpers, and Pokemon cards, trading cards.
Mhm.
That game, like I say, if you want to get into the trading card hobby, you got to have a deep pocket. Like I say,
Yeah.
you buy retail, it's gonna be so hard for you to hit a good card. You have to be buying hobby boxes, those type of things. Pokemon, you have to be camping out for probably like 2 days just to get like one box. But it's
Mhm.
like there's so many resellers, and it's like they're still doing it because there's still a market for it. There's still people buying it. So it's like I always see posts like just stop buying from scalpers and they're gonna stop because like I said, they can't afford to buy more.
Yep.
But nobody's ever gonna stop. And I think it's the same with concerts. Nobody's gonna stop. You know,
Hmm.
Harry Styles, he has this residency, but there's so many people that want to go watch him, are a fan of him. We saw it with Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift had ridiculous amount of shows, but it was still so
Hmm.
hard to get a ticket to that.
Oh
And
yeah.
if you got it at face value, you're one of the few lucky people that did. A lot of
Hmm.
people had to pay 2 to 3 times, even more for those tickets. So it's like
Yep.
it. We know what the solution is, but I don't think it could ever happen. It's going to be so hard. So that's why I'm curious what Ontario does and how it actually looks.
Yeah, they're going to be the guinea pig for this. So, yeah, let's see how it turns out. Boots on the ground, people. Yeah, I'd appreciate that for,
Yeah.
banter on the rocks. Uh, any boots on the ground in Ontario area of Canada, let us know. Ticket resellers, are we going old school? Are we going paper,
Uh,
printouts? Are we doing trench coat? What section do you want? Um, gotta if you're gonna resell, you gotta get back to the hustle. Don't use a
mhm.
bot. You can't use a bot.
Yeah.
You're gonna send a robot out there to try to resell.
Uh.
They're not gonna bargain well. So,
No.
yeah, curious. Boots on the ground. Love to see it. And yeah, yeah. But you're right. You got to get really lucky to get face value tickets these days.
Mm-hmm.
And this will certainly help a whole lot of that going on. So, more money in your pockets
Yeah.
to, I don't know, afford gas to get there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the way gas is right now. It's a whole
Yeah.
different banter take.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.